Okay, so we're going to move to the second part of the assignment where you're going to choose to either do a 1-point perspective or a 2-point perspective drawing for your background for the character that you created. So what you want to do is try to find a background that's going to be suitable for them. So right now I just wrote 1-point perspective, and maybe what you want to do is find an example that you can use that's not too hard to follow. So again, this one has a high horizon line. So you got to think about that too, like how you're going to use it as an example. And now all the things you find on the internet may not be perfect, so be aware of that. Like look at this one over here is not that great. So I'm going to just go with something a little simpler because that's usually better. So I'll go with this one, and I'm going to look here. It seems a little crooked, so I'm not going to go with that one. So you see that you want to use the process of, oops, I don't want that. Apologies. Let's go back here. This one with the trees is pretty nice. We could use it, but I want some buildings that I can imitate. See this one here, it's like it goes over the horizon line. I'm going to take this one. This one's pretty good. So I'm going to go copy image. And then what I want to do is open Photoshop. Now you need to go back and look at your image. Am I in landscape format or portrait format? So this is landscape format. So what you're going to do is you go to Photoshop, you're going to go create new and create your print in landscape format. So 11 by 8.5. Then we're going to go, you can unlock this as usual. Maybe this is your background anyways. Then Control T. And what you want to do is make it your main background. You may want to fit it however you feel you can. And you're going to use this as the background. And one thing you want to do is lower the opacity on it because you don't want to copy it exactly, but you want to definitely start. So a couple of reminders. So click your brush, make sure the thickness is okay. And you don't want it to be too thick. And you could do 2 drafts. You could do a rough draft, and then I'm going to go shift and just click. Okay, drag it, make a perfect line. And I'm going to go here and click, shift, and then go down here and click. And then you just keep going from there. Click, shift, click, click, shift. I usually prefer starting from the point actually. And then for these lines, it's just shift and then just drag it over, right? And then take your time. Not a whoops, Control Z. So you want to do click and then shift. You just keep going, okay? Click and shift. You just fill it in. So now you see there's a couple of buildings. Well, maybe you want to add a couple more. But what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to go click and shift, click and click, just down, right? It's perfectly 90-degree angle. Click and shift, and click shift. You just fill in the building. Kind of missed that one. I would probably redo it, but I'm going to just keep going just because this is just a tutorial. Oopsie. Control Z that one. Control Z. Oh, Control Z is always your friend. Click, shift, and then this is just drag over. Now you may want to do a rough draft and then use your pen to color them in and look a little more organic because you got to remember this is a cartoon, so maybe having perfect windows is not what you want to do. Maybe you want to like make windows like you want to customize this, okay? I know these are terrible, but it gives you an idea. Close them off. You can use the paint bucket tool, paint them in. Oops, he's painting in on that. Not working really well here, but you get a sense of what I'm trying to say is you want to make it your own. You don't want to make it exactly a copy of what you found. That's kind of bad. And then, there's some mountains here. Oops, Control Z. And I'm going to go with the brush tool. Oops, Control Z, Z. And I'm going to go with the brush tool. So maybe I want bigger mountains, like make it your own. Maybe you want to put a stop sign here or something. or something. Okay, set dressing basically. What you do is you draw it first perfectly, all the proportions, then you add set dressing. So now remember that these invisible lines, and you can go and get your star like we did yesterday to guide you. So give me a second, I'll go get that. So again, I didn't do this yet, but if I can add a layer here, just add a layer, and I set up my star shape, remove the fill, stroke 1, just like in the other video, star at 99%. Instead of putting 99 sides, I put like less, just because they're meant to be guides. You're not actually tracing them. And what I'm going to do is make sure you're right in where your points are, and then line it up. You can line it up with the line on your sidewalk, or I usually prefer lining it up with the horizon line. So there you go, and then I let go. And again, I picked red here, so you can choose another color. If I go back over here, now these lines can guide my creation process. And obviously you can see how these windows are just terrible. But even though I was trying to do a cartoon thing, you can break some of the rules as long as you have the lines that are pretty good for that 1 point or 2 point perspective, whatever you choose to do. If you have any other questions, please let me know.